everything about being a professional in human design is about being simple in the way in which you apply and offer information. I always like these opportunities to meet with you to remind you of that, because I know how tempting all of this knowledge is. You know, I know how much fun you can have by going into deep explorations. And I know that when you see somebody's partnership chart, there's going to be this immediate need for you to examine all of their lines and all of their resonances and their profile harmonies and dissonances and blah, blah, blah. Like doing somebody's reading, you already, most of you, have amassed a great deal of information about the body graph and the lines and the way things work, and you come to somebody's reading and you know that you can't get lost in all of that. You know, what I'm there to do for somebody is to awaken them to the experiment. And I really want you to take that as a motto deep inside of you, that that's your responsibility with anyone that you meet in your life that you can share this knowledge with, is to bring them to the opportunity that there's an experiment that they can take, and that experiment can give them direct results, and out of that they can know themselves. It's not about inviting them to an education. It's not about inviting them to a whole feast of this knowledge and all the places it can go. You'll just confuse them and lose them on the way. When somebody comes for a reading, you know, I don't do profiles and readings, you know, once in a blue moon, because it's really essential to help somebody grasp themselves. But the fact is that, you know, just as I never taught you all of that stuff for so many years, you know, wasn't in any of the readings, because it's not essential to what the mechanics is for an individual in their first encounter with this knowledge. It's about you getting them to the place where they can see what their type is, what the strategy is for that type, and how they can benefit from that. People don't come to you for stuff that's interesting. They want solutions in their life. They want help in their life. You know, they're not paying for that because they just want to hear something else that's interesting. You know, they can turn on their cable television system or whatever the hell. There's all kinds of, there's all kinds of interesting stuff around. It's not about that. You have to recognize that because you love the knowledge, you want to be able to show them all that. The other thing is, because you're insecure, you want to be able to show them all that. You want to be able to show them all the stuff you know and blah, blah, blah. It doesn't do them any good. And it doesn't do you any good. If you can just give somebody the basics of their design, their definition, their type, their authority, if it's there, then you've really done your job, because then they can go out there and they have something to work with. And everybody recognizes their type. Everybody can deal with that basic experiment. And I want you to see that the same thing is true in a relationship. There's two very important things that you must begin with. One is the little rhyme I taught you. Because what you'll see is, as you know, go through the years with this little rhyme, you'll discover